Well, hello, welcome back to our last session of Spiritual Warfare and Our Authority. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the end times, the time before Jesus returns. It's probably the most spiritually intense battle on earth that we'll encounter if you're here. And I do believe that we're close to that. I do believe we can see the runway on that. And I thought it would be good to look at the warfare going on in it, because it's very, very severe. Daniel chapter 11 and verse 32, it says, "Those who do wickedly against the covenant, he shall corrupt with flatteries. He is the Antichrist. And those that do wickedly against the covenant are those that apostate the church." In other words, they've apostated the church. He's going to corrupt them with flattery, with words, with compliments. It says, "But the people who know their God," that's us, "the people that know their God shall be strong and carry out great exploits. Those of the people who understand shall instruct many, yet for many days they shall fall by the sword, by flame, by captivity, by plunder." So those that know God won't be deceived. Those that know God can't be flattered away from Christianity. Those that do know their God will be very strong in the face of a major headwind where most of humanity will drink the Kool-Aid. You know, right now in our country, we see things changing. But still, there's a lot of us. You know, there's a lot of us that believe in Jesus, and you know, there's still hope, I guess. But here, these people who know their God will be strong and carry out great exploits. God can use them. Those are the people that understand what's going on will instruct others. And yet for many days they will be martyred by sword, by flame, by captivity, by plunder. When they fall, they shall be little aided with little help, but many shall join to them with intrigue. Some of those who understand shall fall to refine them, purify them, make them white until the time of the end, because they're still for an appointed time. Then the king, that's Antichrist, shall do according to his will. He shall exalt, magnify himself above every god. He shall speak blasphemies against the God of God, shall prosper till the wrath has been accomplished. For what has been determined shall be done. He shall regard neither God of his fathers, nor desire women, nor have any God, for he shall exalt himself above all. And so the people that do know their God will be able to fight in this battle. I mean, anybody that rolls over will concede to Antichrist, will concede to his agenda. You could see churches today conceding to the world system, conceding to the sin that's been approved in many countries. The people that know their God will not be deceived. They'll have charisma, you know, they won't believe the charisma and deception of the Antichrist. They'll operate in power in the gifts of the Holy Spirit. I believe that they'll have special protections during that time. You know, and they will lead others in the truth of righteousness, and they'll love not their lives unto death. And you know, when you look at this, what's he saying? Basically, in these 10 sessions, we're looking at a mature Christian. We're looking at somebody who has left the world system, has, you know, one with Jesus, one with each other, is not, you know, hoarding wealth and doing all the other things that human beings do, is sensitive to the voice of God, you know, is operating and functioning in the gifts of the Spirit. This is a real Christian, man or woman, young or old. And they will have a special place during this time in this dispensation because they've prepared. They've prepared. Now, whether Jesus comes in 10 years or 20 years or 40 years, we don't know. I mean, nobody knows the day or the hour. We will know when Antichrist goes into the temple and proclaims himself Messiah, we'll know that we have about 3.5 years left, give or take. And so the preparation is in the time before. You can't prepare for a storm in the middle of the storm. You won't have the tools. And so I teach every Saturday on end times. I believe that I'm 65, I'll be 66. I believe I will see the return of the Lord if I live long enough. I don't think it's in this decade, but I do believe we're headed there. All of God's client nations, his nations that were built on Christianity, are all turning toward darkness. There's our nation. There's 47% of our nation is either atheist or doesn't believe in God, but goes through the motions. So you can't have the kinds of histories that we've had in this nation with that kind of population growth. I mean, and look at the young generation. I mean, we're headed toward the return of Jesus Christ. So anyway, if you disagree, don't write. Don't write, because I believe in what I believe because I study the Word.